Have a special presentation from the 121 Cody Nancy for lease and later meetings.
Will you all please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pastor Clark, would you lead us in invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight to do the business of our town. Pray, Lord, that you would help us to make wise decisions to help our citizens, and pray that you would protect those that serve around the world, that we might sit here in freedom tonight. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pastor Clark, pray to reflect that all council members are here tonight. We go straight into a proclamation from United Way of Denton. This is a proclamation by the mayor of town of Hickory Creek, Texas, where it is United Way of Denton County achieves its mission to improve lives in Denton County by mobilizing community resources that address critical issues in education, income, and health, building blocks for a better life. Whereas through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, United Way of Denton County staff volunteers and community partners prepared the 612 federal tax returns this year free of charge for low-income Denton County households, returning $1,336,405. The local economy and saving families $137,000 in tax preparation fees. And in Denton County, 1 out of every 3 students are at risk of dropping out of school, and more than 8,200 children under the age of 5 live in poverty. United Way of Denton County mobilizes volunteers to mentor children, provide effective training for parents and caregivers, and assist in supplying critical needs such as food, clothing, and school supplies. And whereas more than 90,000 Denton County individuals are unsure where they will get their next meal, United Way of Denton County supports Feed America and Stamp Out Hunger food drive with the National Association of Letter Carriers this past year, generating more than 40,000 pounds of food donations in one day. Whereas the senior population in Denton County is expected to double in the next 2 decades, United Way of Denton County and its partners provide services that allow seniors to remain in their homes longer and to age with dignity and respect. Whereas donors gave $2,068,024 to United Way of Denton County in the past year to support its mission as a 20 partner agency and more than 400 other health and human service nonprofit organizations. Now therefore, I, John Smith Jr., Mayor of the town of Hickory Creek, Texas, do hereby proclaim September 2013 to be Live United Month in the town of Hickory Creek, and joins United Way of Denton County donors, volunteers, and partners in calling on all residents to live united and give, advocate, and volunteer. Sign that, get that straight. Is anybody here from United Way tonight? No? All right. Moving on to announcements. Any announcements from the council?
Mayor, I'd like to share with the council and the audience the animal shelter on October 14th, which is a Wednesday. We're having a fundraiser for the animal shelter at Cholito's Restaurant in Lake Dallas. We need volunteers to help serve, refill iced tea, take orders, whatever is needed. We're going to have a couple of raffle items and then some other things, selling some cookbooks at the same time. So if you can volunteer, there will be information coming out about that. If not, please come and eat and be sure to leave a nice tip, because that goes to the shelter. Thank you.
What was that date again?
October 14th,
2014. Is that all day long or just evening?
No, from 5 to 9, I'm sorry.
Okay, any other announcements? Okay, we'll move into the public comments. The purpose of this item is to allow the public an opportunity to address the council, comply with the provisions of the Open Meetings Act. Town council cannot discuss or take action items brought before them, not posted on the agenda. Comments regarding an item on the agenda may be made at the time during the agenda item. So I'm going to call out some names. If you want to wait till the agenda item comes up, that's fine. You can go ahead and come on up and you'll have 3 minutes. Mary Spencer. Mary Spencer. Hello, Ms. Spencer.
Good evening. Mary Spencer, and I live on Whitney Drive. I back up to the proposed construction yard, and I have lived here since 2004. We bought our lot and built our house after carefully researching local land use zoning and learning from the city that the pasture behind our yard was zoned for agricultural use and would remain open space. Over the years, we have enjoyed seeing wildlife in that pasture, including rabbits, ducks, geese, and last winter, young eagles, whom I believe are protected species. While my enjoyment of my home will be disturbed by the proposed use of the pasture, my concerns are far more serious than that. Air pollution from the proposed industrial facilities would be right behind our homes and will endanger sensitive populations, including the old, the young, and those with respiratory disease. My own husband is at home this evening. He suffers from COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which he relies on oxygen 24 hours a day. The children who live and play and go to school in our neighborhood are particularly susceptible to the effects of air pollution because of their small lungs, which are still developing. The vulnerable populations of elderly, young, and sick are already burdened by high ozone pollution on days like today, which was a code orange day in Denton County. If we site an industrial asphalt plant in people's backyards, this adds insult to injury. The asphalt plant, the construction stockpiles, and heavy equipment will bring foul odors, particulate pollution, dust, volatile organic pollutants, and other noxious and dangerous conditions to our doorsteps. It's not just unsightly, it's unhealthy. The children who attend the Lighthouse Preschool up the street, the hundreds of future residents of the mansions at Hickory Creek, and the existing hundreds of families in Lakeview at Point Vista will all suffer with this proposed industrial facility. I ask that you protect the mothers and the fathers, the children, and the most vulnerable among us from this inappropriate facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. Mike Dietz.
Hi, Mike Dietz. I also live at Whitney Drive. I had a little presentation or speech to give, but the previous speaker was far more eloquent than I could ever hope to be. So I just want to echo what she had to say, really on one aspect. The only other thing I would like to add is it's my understanding that the construction company has in no way promised to give anything back to the community as well to make up for the harm they bring to the community. So with what the previous speaker said, with that in mind, I urge the council not to approve this.
Thank you, Mr. Dietz. John Wiley? Wait, you want to wait till the item goes? Okay. Jay Adams?
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Just state your name and address.
Jay Adams, 1440 Kelton Parkway, Kelton, Texas. I'm the regional manager for Kelton Properties. We're constructing the mansions at Hickory Creek, and we haven't had no residents at this point, but we're soon going to have them. We're rather concerned to find out about the planned construction yard at 1140 Point Vista Road. Google Maps says we're about 1,000 feet away from the location. Honestly, I don't know exactly what the construction yard entails, but from what I've been told, it does involve some sort of a batch plant for asphalt mixing. But generally speaking, if it involves DOT and 35 expansion, I think we're already looking at a significant period of harmful effects with regard to the overall expansion. But this would prolong it for up to 42 months, because you're putting the activity of construction right there in the middle of Hickory Creek, and more importantly, in the middle of residential housing. So I don't think it's fair to the other residents. I don't know what interest is served beyond the property owners in terms of approving the special permit, use permit, to allow this plant to go, construction yard to go in. And I will vote against it.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Gene McCutcheon.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'm Gene McCutcheon. I currently reside in Carrollton, Texas, 1440 Carrollton Parkway, but most of the time I'm at 1021 Point Vista, Hickory Creek, Texas. My concern is that the noise and the trucks, etc., on item agenda 3 is going to concern us trying to fill up apartment units that are currently under construction. And I know that they're going to tell you that they're going to work between 7 and 5. Trust me, these gentlemen over here have had me in trouble before. I've worked beyond that time, and I've been in trouble. I start early, I get in trouble. It's not something that is very easy to deal with on a time frame, because when someone says, hey, I need material, are they going to sell it or are they not going to sell it? They're going to sell it. So I'd like to propose to the council to reject this. And I know that it's hard for me to do this because I just came in here and got one approved. But in reality, this is going to affect the reason we came to the approval.
Dr. Dan Miller.
Hi, my name is Dr. Dan Miller. I live at 1156 Point Vista Road, and I was so happy that Mrs. Spencer went first because she very eloquently stated the position that I have as well. I live literally around the corner from this proposed construction site. When I first heard about it, I thought it was just going to be like what they did a couple of years ago in Turbyville, where there was a piece of property there and they were widening Turbyville. I think they put construction equipment there. I don't have a real problem with that. But as soon as I heard that they were putting asphalt or some type of facility to construct that, I was really concerned about air pollution. I was concerned about noise. I do have a neighbor across the street who has respiratory problems as well. I have allergies. I Googled something last night, and within a few keystrokes, you can find about all the health hazards related to that. I also found out recently that this request was turned down by Louisville, was turned down by Farmers Branch, and now suddenly they're moving up the road to Hickory Creek, asking Hickory Creek to approve this. I want to be a good neighbor, and I understand people have a right to use their land for what they want to use it for, but I really believe this is infringing upon the community, and I don't think I want you to oppose this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moore. Tom Bond, did you want to wait or did you want to?
I'm going to talk now.
Okay, come on up.
My name's Tom Bond, 50 Circle, near Hickory Creek. Actually, I live on the other side of the interstate, so I'm not actually near where this batch plant's going in, but I have been around these batch plants before. Some of them work in the controls industry, and I can tell you they're very stinky, they're rank, and I'm also a pilot. I'm familiar with the prevailing winds, and prevailing winds are about 80% of the time north from the south. And we've got two major businesses right there across the street from that. We've got the steakhouse and we've got the movie theater. And people will be getting out of their cars, or when we get into their cars, walk across the parking lots, they're going to smell that. It's just going to be downright nasty. Not to mention, we got to worry about the service roads when we get the car down through there, where it's really the only way to get to the other side of the town at present is down that service road. So we're either going to have to contend with that, or we're going to have to drive around the north side and down through town to get there. As the gentleman before me said, and I agree with him, I'm all for property rights, but when the property rights infringe on anybody else's property rights, then that's not a right anymore. I also would urge you to vote against this particular measure.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Mike Daniel.
Council. I live at 142 Whitney Drive, Mike McDaniel. My wife and I bought our property as we understood that we were going to be having a child. Our little boy is now 14 months old. I've got a 5-year-old and a 20-year-old that I couldn't tell you anything about. But if she lives with me, but I still can't tell you. When we bought that property, we bought it because of that pasture that was back there and a little bit of the serenity that we were going to be able to find Since being there, because of the economy, we saw a drop in our property values. But this last 12 months, we started to see them rise up again. I do have a background in mortgage and I've had an MLS license for the last 7 years. And I think that it's not wise for us to consider doing something that's going to voluntarily drop our property values once again. We're trying to come out of that scenario that we're in. As far as the lights, the noise, the smell, if you guys want to come help me wrestle a 14-month-old to bed when he's been woke up, you're welcome to do so, but I think we all understand the frustrations that will come with that. We've got a deck on the back of our home. I'd like to be able to enjoy that deck. We paid to have that deck put in, and if the smell is terrible, I can't host social events, I can't have my family over because it just wouldn't be nice or fun for anybody that's involved there. So it is my request from the council that you reject this option to utilize that land.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. Okay, that is all for the public comment. We're going to move on to the business items. Number 1 is going to be a public hearing. Your public opinion regarding the request from AGL Constructors for a special use permit to install a construction yard on property located at 1140 Point Vista Road. The legal description of the property is A095A, Carroll Track 31, 11.785 acres, Old Track, number 9, Hickory Creek, Denton County, Texas. So it's 6:47. We'll open that up, and if you want to come up and say make an additional comment to what was already said, that's fine. But you'll have 3 minutes. You need to state your name and address, and just come up to the podium during the public hearing.
This time.
You can at this time, or you can wait for the agenda item itself.
I'll wait till you call the agenda item, I'll come before.
Okay, that'd be fine. Would anyone like to speak to him? Okay, at 6:48, I'm going to close that public hearing. We're going to go into one more public hearing. To hear public opinion regarding a request from the Smedley Revocable Trust for a final plat on the Smedley Addition, lots 1 and 2, block 8B, and 1.730 acre tract, and the LCOP survey abstract number 284, tract 130, Hickory Creek, Denton County, Texas. This property is located at the southwest corner of Hickory Creek Street, Timberlake Lane. At 6:48, the public hearing is open. Would somebody like to speak on behalf of them? If you would, state your name and address.
My name is Jim Schmuck, 1708 Osprey Court in Corinth, and I'm a realtor, Green Maxwell Associates, and I represent Smedley Trust, and the board gave this plat free, and hope that you would approve it. I think of all you can, enhance the property values for the surrounding properties and the whole area. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak on behalf of this public hearing number 2? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close public hearing number 2 at 6:49. We're going to regular consent items 1 through 9. Any questions or comments from the council?
I do have a comment there. Just want to comment on how impressed I was with the EDC budget and the savings that I saw over last year. It's a very tight budget. Just want to congratulate that group for the hard work they've done. And then also on the agreement between MyTech Services and our IT solution here for the town. They're doing a fantastic job, and I'm really glad to see the opportunity to keep them on with us.
Okay.
With that said, I'd be happy to make a motion.
Anybody else discussion wise on these items?
I move to accept consent agenda items C1 through C9.
Okay, Councilman Ward's made a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Council Visor seconds. All in favor? All right, moving on. Item D1, interview applicants for the Lake City Library Board. Christie, you have any forms? She here? I think I saw her. And is there an opening on that board?
Yes.
Any discussion? No discussion. We'll move on to item 2, consider an act on the appointment to the Lake City Library Board.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Donna Duncan to the Lake City's Library Board.
Okay, Council Wise, you've made a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that.
Councilman Ward seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Item D3, consider an act on a special use permit to install a construction yard on property located at East 1140 Point Vista Road. The legal description of the property is A09588A, Carroll Tract 31, 11.785 acres, Old DCAT Tract number 9, Hickory Creek, Denton County, Texas. And with this item, I'm going to abstain from this, and Councilman Clark is going to do this portion.
Okay. Mr. Whaley, would you like to speak now on the agenda item?
Yes, ma'am.
Step forward and state your name and address.
Good evening, council members. My name is John Whaley. I live at 1140 Point Vista Road, Baker Creek, Texas, and have for nearly 40 years. I agree with everybody in the audience so far about the land being a beautiful piece of pasture. It's not seen by most folks because of the tillage of the property. But in view of the way that things have been growing, I'd like people to consider the fact that we were once alone on that piece of property. When the neighborhood developed in the area next door, we did not fight it, we did not go against it, we did not say anything about it. That's progress. And it also meant internal revenues for the city, the town of Hickory Creek. Before that time, we had a voluntary tax. In this town, it was $25 a year, and you didn't have to pay if you didn't want to. Due to the increase in the tax base, people are getting short on revenues, and I myself, as representative of the landowners, am included. I'm looking for a way to earn some revenue. Being retired, anything helps. Tax base is killing me. There's a point in time when, even without using the clause of eminent domain, that progress has to be made. The state's going to get this road through here one way or another. They've only been delayed because of engineering faults in the past. Otherwise, it would have already been completed 2 years ago. They're coming back forth now with the renovations and the expansion of the highway. And as far as dust, fumes, smoke, odors, noise, that sort of thing, the highway is going to be under construction 24 hours a day. You can see that all the way down to LBJ and Stevens now, all the way out to Carl. That's something that's just going to happen. The highway is also all the right-of-way in the town of Hickory Creek across the lake through Highland Village is all going to be expansion on the west side only. The east side is staying where it's at. All 8 additional lanes will be on the west side. There's no helping that's going to come right next to the neighborhood. In fact, the front fence by the service road at this time will be the edge of the right-of-way. So noise from a construction company is hardly any different than the noise from the highway itself, even though there will be sound walls, that's our understanding. AGL has proposed to do everything that they possibly can to abate any noise pollution, visual, any other sort of thing, as the neighbors would request. In the P&Z meeting, they requested that the fence be taller. No problem. AGL said we will do whatever it takes to make you happy. There's only one other thing that came about at the P&Z meeting that I'd like to see rescinded, and that is an annual versus a full contract inspection as presented by Mr. Van Zandt, the attorney to the members of the P&Z at that time. If we can do that, there's going to be progress in this community. As far as giving back to the community, I know it from heart. It's 3 minutes. The income that you're going to make in this town off of the people who are going to be working here day by day, who are going to be simply parking out there in their offices, is all your restaurants, convenience stores, grocery stores, everything else. What they're giving back to the community is way beyond what they're taking away from them.
Thank you, Mr. Whaley.
Thank you. Sorry I'm over time.
That's okay. I didn't want to cut you off mid-sentence. Okay, gentleman with AGL, you want to step forward and kind of give us a presentation, state your name and...
Council, I'm Jeff Stokes with AGL Constructors. Glad to meet you all tonight. As in reference, with the air quality permits, we are under strict scrutiny from the TCEQ, which is the state and the federal government, to identify and to adhere to the policies and the permits we get from them. So as far as air quality goes, we will meet or exceed the existing if we have to. Our TCEQ permits require that we submit those, and we do. Our EPA and our SWAGGIN, everything that we put in place. As far as sound quality some of these things in lieu of issuance of SUP for property. Now, in consideration and some of the questions that City of Louisville rejected us and Farmers Branch rejected us, this is incorrect. We do have areas in those cities that we're going to utilize, but it's actually in a heavy industrial zone here, which we do not have here, so we have to ask for an SUP. City of Carrollton, same thing. We do have areas that we're working with there, and we're going to, the cities and stuff are getting back with the people. You're looking at a high peak time, maybe working 1,500 to 2,500 employees that will be working. Some maybe from Yossi on this project in the next 4 years. That gets back to their families. TxDOT is, and I can't speak for TxDOT, but I can speak for the contractor. TxDOT is acquiring properties and right of ways, and in lieu of an SUP, which we would make would be good, it helps the community and do stuff. We can utilize the TxDOT right of way property without an SUP. We don't want to do that because it takes up so much room and it gives us constraints. This gives us a little extra room. We are not all congested according to this city. But in lieu of the problems we face, progress is over. We all understand. Looking at LBJ 35 South. But the completion is beautiful. And it brings more to the city. What we have with GF is bringing more to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, council? Questions, discussion?
If I may.
Yes, sir.
I went to the P&Z meeting and I listened to Jeff speak at the time. And, I'd like to say, first of all, I think every one of us, somewhere or another, are sort of excited about I-35 coming through. It's a blessing, but we're going to have to go over some rough patches before that's done. I had asked Jeff whether they plan to do lime slurry at this particular plant. He said no, they do not, which is a relief, but they do intend to do the asphalt mix. The other thing I asked after P&Z meeting was over, whether they had any sites. There's supposed to be sites all along the I-35 construction. I asked Jeff if they had any in such close proximity to restaurants and residential as we're looking at here. I think at the time, Jeff, you said no. That's correct. So that was a red flag for me, so to speak. I'd also like to say that over the years, Hickory Creek has been experiencing growth. And members of the council, members of the staff, members of the community have worked very hard to manage this growth, put things in place, make it work, whether it's mix and match or whatever it took. A lot of time went into this. And the council, the staff, and did everything they could to please as many people as they could as we experienced this growth. And when we look back at all that's been accomplished and where we're at now and the fact there's very little land left, we have to look at what fits in the mix. And for me, that's kind of a difficult question regarding this particular problem, especially where it's located. So I have a little bit of concern about that, but there is no other facilities located in the same close proximity. Okay, thank you.
This time.
Thank you, Councilman Dupree. Someone else, anybody else have questions, comments?
I've got a few.
Councilman Ward?
I guess just a few questions or clarifications first. For a clarification, 7 years ago, when I got on this council, one of the first things we did was we called a group of citizens together and we asked to set some goals for the town, and we needed a new master plan for this town. And several of our neighbors, we all got together and we hired a firm and we came up with a very good, strong master plan for our town. And as a part of that master plan, we removed all industrial, light industrial, heavy industrial. We made a cognizant decision at that time that industrial did not belong in what our vision was for this town. I understand there's changes understand that there's needs for SUPs, and that's why we're here today. But that's why we're here, is because we've already said no, we don't want heavy industrial in our town once. And it's in writing, we made a lot of money to create a plan for parks and sidewalk cities. And we've got a downtown charrette that we're proud of that is coming finally. You know, we finally seeing some light in the tunnel. I just have concerns. To me, sir, I don't have enough details. You know, I appreciate the two